Hey everyone, Laurel here, Minnesota Zone 5A. We have a warm up. It's about 50 degrees right now. Last couple days got up into the low 50s. Got two more warm days, and then we go back to like the 20s because it is the middle of February. So if only this would last, but sadly it will not. We got a few more weeks yet before we're in the 50s regularly. So, but you can see we lost a whole lot of snow, a whole lot of melt. I don't think we have any significant snow on the forecast. Actually some rain even. Hopefully not freezing rain, just regular rain. And maybe a little bit of snow coming up in the next few weeks. But I did knock what was left of the snow off of the Mr. Bowling Ball Arborvitae, and it popped right back up. There's a little bit of a bare spot in the middle here, so I might reshape that. Otherwise, I think it'll be okay. But yeah, some things are really showing now. Even this Anna's Magic Ball Arborvitae, I don't normally knock all the snow off of these, but I did clear that one off as well. I should probably, this annual laying across here is like a salvia, annual salvia. I should take it away from that juniper. Hopefully I remember that when I'm done filming. I did go and collect, I can maybe get that hosta in there now. You can see I didn't get to clearing hosta foliage because we got a really early snowfalls this year. So I did yesterday what I could get to from where the snow melted, cleaned up a bunch of hosta leaves. I am seeing signs that the moles are very much still here. So I'm hoping that the cats, maybe the snow is melted, the ferals will start hunting moles. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get some pest deterrents. I've had some good recommendations in my comments of what to try. So that'll come in the spring. I did place, just for insulation, I popped, oh gosh, there's tons of cat poop over here. Oh, lovely. You can see my little door swag from Christmas. I placed it over a perennial right over there that I had planted in the fall. Then I had some eucalyptus that I just plunked down behind that Troutman juniper there. Yeah, but we're seeing how things are going. The snow is almost completely melted from on top of the raised beds. I've got garlic planted in this one. This is my cat and other critter deterrent, all of these baskets. The white ones are like closet inserts or baskets turned upside down from Menards. The other baskets are various ones from Dollar Tree. And then bricks and sticks just to keep them from digging in there. I've got my strawberries here with a whole bunch of straw on top. Once spring comes, I'll have to I got more baskets to put. You can see a whole menagerie of baskets on this bed. There's nothing planted in here other than this this North Pole Arborvitae that's healed in for winter. Looking very healthy, so I'm pleased with that. But yeah, again, it's just the ferals, just as soon as they can dig in soil, they want to use it for a litter box. Right now they're just pooping all over the snow, apparently. But we've got some nice texture out here still. Excuse me, hiccup. The Millennium Allium there. This is a more mature North Pole Arborvitae, probably about 6 years old now, 5, 6 years old, something like that. And we've got, this is a Anna's Magic Ball here. This one was a little more unevenly covered in snow, so I knocked that off. Usually they reshape themselves, though. When we have heavy snow like we did early in the season, it's not really feasible to come out here and constantly dig them out of the snow. Plus, being buried keeps them from being eaten up by rabbits and such, which I don't have a problem with other than in the wintertime, normally. Practically no snow cover over here. We've got Helen von Stein lamb's ear that I planted late in the season on clearance. I've got another hosta I can clear up in lungwort foliage over here. The hostas, I just don't want them to have slug eggs hanging out till spring. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good. Lots of strawberries in the ground. Hopefully I can get most of these dug up. We'll see what survives in the raised bed. I left a lot in the ground just in case the ones I transplanted in the raised bed do not survive. This is where I have more garlic under a thick layer of leaves here and baskets to protect. A little bit worried about moles. I know moles don't eat plants or plant roots. They go after grubs in the soil. So, but they can do a lot of damage to plants, digging around, uprooting things, trying to get to grubs. So definitely don't want them around. Plus I don't want to step in a molehill and like twist my ankle or something walking around the yard. Lots of marigolds left over. I'll clean these out early spring so they don't self-seed quite as prolifically, because I'm going to need more of this space next year. Or this year, I guess, this summer. Real wet, crunchy snow right now. Try not to step in kitty doo-doo. You can really see the pretty red berries here on the barberry. Very ornamental. And behind it, the red twig dogwood that will need quite a hard cut back this year. I have let it go for several years. I've never given a really hard prune. So this year, both dogwoods are getting pretty big trim. Viburnum over here. I checked on my tree. It's looking good. No signs of critter damage at the base. I think there are other things for rabbits to chew on that they wouldn't necessarily have to go for, like chewing on the base of a tree trunk. Hopefully. I mean, I say that, but yeah, I don't see any damage. I've got the little white wrap thing to protect it from winter sun scald, but it is all full of buds. I showed that in a previous video. If this will focus or not. Maybe, maybe not. There are quite a few buds. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Oh well. I guess use your imagination if you couldn't see. We are not a professional operation here. I am not a good with a camera. So we've got our juniper. I wonder, I think these are a little bit naturally sparse at the base. I don't really see like signs that it's been chewed up. Who knows? I did come out here though. This North Pole arborvitae is looking healthy. Very healthy. A little spot there, but yeah, that one's looking good. The DeGroot spire, however, there was quite a bit of dead around the base. You can see how like thin it is. This one was a major clearance, like maybe $10 clearance plant. So as I've said before, no huge loss. This does kind of bronze out for winter, this particular kind. This side looks a little bit better, but there was still quite a lot of dead needles that I knocked out of there. So I'll give it one more year. We'll see what it does this summer. If it fills back in, if it's looking really at the end of the summer or by the end of next winter, if it's looking ratty, then I'll get something else to plant there. I'll replace it. I do see buds on the viburnum as well. These are American cranberry viburnum. They're like a dwarf red berried kind. I see mole tracks. I mean, some of these mole tracks are old, but I did yesterday see fresh hills and mounds in the snow that were in the yard that weren't there in the fall. I cleaned up what I could reach from the hostas over here yesterday. I like to leave like those bloom stalks up so that way I remember where they are come spring. There are more hostas back here too. Sometimes I can see buds really early on the clematis. I don't know if it'll have it quite yet, but those bud up quite early in the season. I even cut them, you know, at the appropriate time, and they're already budded up. Big fat buds on this red-berried elderberry. That's one of the first things to leaf out in the spring. This one I think maybe has verticillium wilt, sadly. So a lot of things bud up and leaf out, and then they kind of just wither and die. So we'll see what this one does. Of course, it's my neighbor's. I just borrow it, hanging over my yard. Everything completely melted over here along the fence. You can see the grass. Lots of bird poop here on the honeysuckle, where the birds like to perch to get to the feeders. Man, look at all that poop. Holy cow. This is one where I'm going to have to get to it early to battle aphids, even earlier this year. And this is almost all melted over here too. I did plant some fresh things. I kind of cleaned up that host, although it was a bit of a mess because it's so wet from the downspout. There's a Virginia here that I planted in the fall. There's phlox. I don't even remember what else. I planted some echinacea. Cleaned up the hosta leaves over here that I could get to. This is my other red twig dogwood. Garden Glow. A little bit better shape. I took out some of the really big branches last year, and I'll continue doing that again this year, some of the older branches. And the Tiny Wine 9 bark. I mean, nothing too exciting. We've got plenty of weeks of winter left, so this is just a temporary warm-up. I think the tater tot arbovita is looking good too. That one I planted kind of late in the season. Man, I see lots of molehill over here. Come on, cats, get those moles. So that one's pretty protected. I brought out my annuals from the basement to spray them, at least the ones that I've been keeping up on. This is what I've been using. I have an insecticidal soap spinosad mix in here. A lot easier to spray. And it's pretty, now the signs are pretty light of any bug activity. I am seeing midges, not a lot of adults. So I'm just going to keep up on it every week. That sprayer helps a whole lot better than like a manual sprayer. So I just left them out here to dry, get a little fresh air before I bring them back into the basement. Still a little too cold for them to stay out yet overnight. It does refreeze. Got another set of them over here. And they're in no danger of freezing now because it's like 50 degrees or greater. So not what some of them prefer, but plenty warm enough. It's not going to do any damage. Basement isn't all that much warmer anyway. Quite a bit of winter kill browning here on the U. We had such cold temperatures this year. Cold, especially wind. When it's cold and dry, will do that. So not uncommon. This was smashed down. This happens to these every year, and they pop back up once the snow melts. So I'm not going to worry about it. Some more winter kill on this one. This one, though, had a lot of winter kill last year, and so I gave it a hard trim, which it was due for anyways. Popped right back up. Did just fine. One year we had a really snowy year, a rough winter, really cold, lots of snow, late snow and cold in the season. Like this juniper is just smashed down, but this happens every single year. Uh, and I got so sick of having snow. It was melted everywhere else, but because these are in the shade all day, it was taking forever to melt from off the bushes. And so I spent half a day out here with a shovel, just shoveling them off and throwing the snow out in the sun to get rid of it. I was so sick of it. Just wanted it to be warm again. These boxwoods got some winter kill, but again, I do a pretty hard prune every spring, so that'll be fine. This yew is the one that's going to make me probably buy a hedge trimmer. I have like Ryobi drills and stuff, so I already have a bunch of batteries, so I'll probably just get the Ryobi brand because it's easy. It's fine. I'm not a contractor. I don't do heavy labor. It's fine. They work fine. I do see buds on this Fothergilla here. That one's super pretty. And we always have look at that piece of tinfoil that just ended up in our yard. Just collects garbage from blowing around garbage cans. I pulled up, there was some ornamental cabbage left in these beds, this side yard that I pulled up. Just putting my yard waste disposal bags in the garage, so it's kind of stinky in the garage. Otherwise, I'll just leave all this stuff till spring. I think the cats are using this as a litter box too, but a lot of this stuff I think is deterring them from going hog wild with it, at least. So, yeah. Oh, look, molehill. There's a that big hole down there is probably from moles. I do see it connects to a mound over there. That is not something I did. Oops, I think I just stepped on an echinacea, but I've got foxglove that seeds itself all over here. Planted some echinacea and a couple grass this last summer. I don't know, eventually I want to take over this space with more garden and who knows what, but I don't know yet. Nor do I want to do it just yet. You always need projects to think about. Another thing I would love to do someday is the boulevard strip there, the Hell Strip, where our tree is. The trees are getting nice and big now. Valley Forge elm is what the city planted in our yard, and they gave them a hard trim last year. They're pretty fast-growing trees. I think they planted maybe 5 different species I counted on our block after the ash trees got taken down. Everything was horribly infested. I mean, like all the ash trees are dying from emerald ash borer. So I think I see a bird's nest up there too. But yeah, I'd like to plant the Hell Strip, maybe a native garden at some point if I can, or a portion of it. I know there's an organization, my coworker, my friend, got a grant from, I think it's called Lawns to Legumes, for planting natives, like true natives, not nativars. I have some natives, but mostly nativars in my garden bed because I want them to behave a certain way. But I would like to plant like species natives, and I think the Hell Strip would be a good place to do it because they're such sturdy plants. So not this year, but perhaps someday. And that'd be nice to have a little grant to pay for some of those plants too. Yeah, I remember when these trees first got put in, we knew they were coming out when we bought the house because it was all ash trees, and now the city doesn't plant a single species in one area anymore. They diversify, so in case a new disease or invasive insect or something like that comes and decimates one population of trees, they don't lose everything for blocks. So, but I could prune that whole tree just standing on the ground, which I did the first couple years. Now they're way too big. Oh gosh, it feels good out here. I don't want to go in. You can see Harriet there in the window, perhaps. The cats have been enjoying the sunshine. Got Harriet, Greta, and Tiger out on the porch. Sometimes I call Tiger Cindy because she has a beauty mark on her face. So Anyway, I hope you're all having a great spring, or at least your winter's not too bad. It always feels good, even though it's not going to last quite yet. It feels really refreshing and good to have this little warm up. So very pleased. And it was a lot easier bringing the plants out here to spray than it is try to do it in the basement laundry tub without making a mess. So I appreciate that as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.